our next set of grand keynote speakers, and we are very thankful for them for taking time out for this. We have Aamir Hussain, Executive Vice President and Chief Technology Officer, CenturyLink. Aamir is an entrepreneur by heart and leader of the product development and technology organization within CenturyLink. He sits on several startup and non-profit boards, is technical advisor to technology companies, and holds 11 patents in telecommunications, and has more than 23 years of proven success. Prior to joining CenturyLink, he held senior leadership roles at Liberty Global, Coed, TELUS, and Quest. We also have Tom Reilly, CEO of Cloudera. Tom is a visionary and has a distinguished 30-year career in the enterprise software market. Tom earlier served as CEO of ArcSight and Trigo Technologies. Tom currently serves as a board member for Jive Software, privately held Ombud, ThreadStream, and Cloudera. And we also have, as Jack just mentioned, Gary Gauba, President, CenturyLink Cognilytics. And that's what Jack was mentioning about, 3-time successful entrepreneur he just met. So Gary has been a visionary also, and he recently merged his company, CenturyLink, with CenturyLink in December. He's also a longtime board member and convener during 2009-2010. CenturyLink and Cognilytics are also grand sponsors of TiECon. We thank them for the generous support. So thank you so much, and I'd like to welcome the speakers on stage. Gary.
Thank you, Sarah. What an inspiring keynote from Jack and Susie. Really inspiring. I guess we have a tough act to follow out here, but we'll try to step it up. It's an honor to have Tom and Aamir out here with me today. And before I really get into the topic of transformational journey towards a new data economy, we got Cloudera, CenturyLink. It'll be good for them to share what was the genesis of each of the companies. And maybe, Tom, I'll start with you, right? How did these engineers from Yahoo, Facebook, Google, and Mike Olson started this company, and how the transformation is shaping up in Cloudera? And Aamir, you have some time to think about it. Right? I know CenturyLink has been around there since 1930, 85 years. You got a lot to think. All right, Tom?
Well, so Cloudera is a 7-year-old startup, and the concept actually came from a white paper published by Google in 2004. And this basically white paper explained how Google figured out how to index the World Wide Web, one of the largest data sets in the world. And that led to a gentleman named Doug Cutting to create this software called Hadoop and put it into the open source community. And it's that decision to put it into open source, which actually has led to the tremendous company I'm with called Cloudera, because we now have a community of open source developers that are building the next generation of data management.
Great, great, great. So Aamir, you know, again, CenturyLink to me is a hidden secret. Obviously, we became part of CenturyLink in December, right? I didn't know till that time they're Fortune 150, about 48,000 employees in 5 continents, 3rd largest telco, 20% of the global internet traffic going through the network, 50 data centers. How did it start in 1930? And where are they today? And what's the transformational journey you guys are going through?
You know, it's been an amazing journey. I mean, I call this company an 85-year-old startup. We are still in a startup mode, or some say emerging company, right? So the company started in 1931 with 75 lines. It was purchased. Oak Ridge Telephone Company was going under, and our founder bought it for $500. And
how much did he bought it for?
$500.
$500.
$500. Like, you know. So we have now over 19 billion revenue, and you know we are worldwide, multiple hundreds of data centers worldwide, hundreds of thousands of miles access of fiber and all kind of services. But from 1931 to 46, the company was stagnant. It was given as a gift by his parents. Our founder got it in 1946. But in 46 and 1971, we had 10,000 lines. We went public in 78. Between 78 and 2000, we really grew, right? So we bought lots of properties from Verizon and Veritech, you know, Sprint's, Wireline Arm, Embark. And then towards 2007 and 8, the company started really evolving. In 2011, we closed the acquisition of Quest US West, and it became the third largest telco in the US. Since then, we have acquired 5 other companies. We've invested $3.5 billion building out our data center, cloud business, and we continue to grow, and that's where we met you also. I mean, you know, I'm going to turn it around and ask you, what made you join CenturyLink? Because, I mean, we definitely see a value in this business. What about you?
Yeah, so to me, right, you know, we were in the big data and the predictive business, and our in-state vision was big data and analytics as a service. And to truly become a global dominant leader in that space, we were missing assets like the network, the data center, and the cloud. And we were also missing the presence in 5 continents, right? And 98% of the Fortune 500 companies as your clients, right? So it was very easy and simple to make that decision to be part of CenturyLink. Right. So let me ask you this, right? You said you guys acquired Quest. What, they were 14 billion in revenue at that time? How big was CenturyLink at that time?
CenturyLink was about $3.5 billion.
And you guys went on and grabbed a $14 billion company?
Yeah, it's really a testament to our management. You know, they are very, very financially savvy. And as I said, I called it a startup because we are ready for transformation. We've been transforming our company for the last 40 years, right? And really 85 years if you count the initial stage of the company start. But we continue to look for gems. You know, we are trying to pick different industry models. You know, you always want to build your company for the future, right? And as the CTO of the company, my job is to figure out where the puck is going to be and just make sure we are already there. And we are not big on building everything internally. You know, we find nuggets like Cognilytics, orchestrate, data. I mean, in the last 3 months, you know, we have acquired literally 3 different companies.
So you're telling me, right, if you meet some emerging entrepreneurs, right, you can give them an offer out here today before 5 p.m.?
You know, absolutely. So thank you for that cue. We actually have built a huge technology center in Louisiana, and my mandate is to really find the right companies that we want to work with in the future. Help them innovate by being a part of our ecosystem, at the same time help them grow. So that's one of the biggest reasons I was here with us.
No, I know when we were hearing Jack and Susie, right, Jack talked about people a lot, right? It talked about, right, you got to really get out of your shell. And I was thinking, right, you know, the entrepreneurial journey really starts with dream. And you got to dream big, right? So Tom, maybe you want to talk about that a little bit, right? What does really take, right? To me, it doesn't cost a dream, right? And
all right. Well, so first I'll make a confession to this audience. I am no entrepreneur. And I've realized that about myself. I'm not an entrepreneur. What I think I'm good at is recognizing and following good entrepreneurs. So I'm in my 3rd company where I've come in as CEO behind great entrepreneurs, and what I can do is scale. But here's what I've learned about entrepreneurs, and now I have lots of folks coming to me with new ideas for businesses. And it's that one word that kind of captures me. When people say I have an idea, I am not that interested because ideas aren't necessarily enduring. When people come and say, they start off their notion for a company with a statement that says, what if? What if? And they continue that. You then realize this person has a purpose or they have a broad vision. And those are the people you want to back. Those are the people you want to be with. Not a good idea, because a good idea does not make a business. But a purpose and a vision and a what-if statement is something that's enduring. I was with our founders of Cloudera just last night. We had a bit of a celebratory dinner. And these founders, you know, 7 years in, are still in the what if. You know, we haven't achieved their original vision, and that is what's enduring. And you have to look for these enduring visions that are almost impossible to solve, and I think that makes great companies.
To me, you know, the market is changing so fast, right? And the topic of our fireside, transformational journey towards a new data economy. You know, a lot of the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies I've met, and a lot of the ones you have met, right? The big thing is transformation, right? How do we embark on this journey, right? Using innovation And to me, you know, the big topic is all around the data economy. How do we monetize, right? And you know, some of the surveys are showing over the next decade, 40% of the Fortune 500 companies may not be there if they don't really step up the game, think out of the box, right? So Tom, why don't you define, right, what does the data economy mean to you? What does that mean from the transformational journey across various verticals? And Aamir, same question is coming to you.
Yeah, so we all know that the world's getting connected, right? Fully instrumented. And the Internet of Things means everything that's running off electricity in some way or another is going to be sending data back in. And we're wearing those things. I like to say, you know, the cars we drive is the world's largest wearable. My car has 200 sensors on it, streaming back to the manufacturer. And so if you're in an industry and you're not thinking about how to take advantage of this new data that is streaming in, you are going to get disrupted. And I was talking earlier about, you know, the what if. I'm so excited about what I'm doing at Cloudera because I get to go to executives in insurance companies and healthcare companies and financial institutions and have these what if statements. You go to an auto insurer and you say, what if you could build auto insurance policies based on how individuals actually drive? Do they do rolling stops? Do they speed? Do they drive on freeways more than they do on in malls or what have you? If you can go to a healthcare provider and say, what if you could monitor all type 1 diabetics, continually monitor their blood glucose levels, their exercise habits, their diets? You know, what if? And you go through every industry and you can have a what if conversation and it's powerful. And if these executives in every industry, whether it's healthcare, telecommunications, financial services, manufacturing, the manufacturing industry is changing because of data. People are no longer selling equipment, they're leasing and offering equipment as a service, right? And so we're working with a large battery manufacturer. Big batteries are in data centers. And they sell the batteries, and then they sell contracts to support and maintain them. Well, now all these batteries are phoning home, and they're switching from selling batteries to offering batteries as a service. This is the what if, is the future and how you use data to transform business.
Well said, well said. So Aamir, right, since Tom also mentioned with IoT, right, 14 billion to 50 billion connected things by 2020 and the new data economy. Why don't you share your views and also, right, what kind of opportunity is creating for the entrepreneurs out there to create their next business, right?
Sure. Let me start with first transformation and touch base on what Tom said. He said something that made me think a little bit. First, let's define transformation, right? So transformation for us is transformation of processes, our product, our customers. And it's all driven by the pace of innovation. In the last 5 to 10 years, we've seen more innovation than the 20 years preceding. Now that drives ourselves to become more profitable, reduce our cost, enhance our processes, and this whole notion of IoT is actually helping that. We have more data coming out than we can actually handle, right? So that's why we need a partnership with companies like Cloudera. We got to take that data real time, process it. We have about 75 to 100 terabit of data that we see at any given point in time. We only monetize, and monetization is a stretch, about 15 to 20%. That is structured. The rest of the data, it just goes in the river, right? So now we are trying to work on solutions in partnering with companies like Cloudera so that we can actually take that data and improve our CRM systems, improve our HR efficiency. Are we hiring the right people? And you heard Jack talked about all the people of power, right? Enhance our financial and legal systems, and at the end of the day, have happy customers. And so that's where IoT is important, and IoT is really going to challenge some of the legacy ways of doing things. I mean, take your company, Analytics, when you bought that, one of the biggest reason was all that data, you can't just take it and look at it sequentially and analyze it effectively unless you have new algorithms in place to be able to use that data effectively.
Absolutely. So, a related question, right? 20% of this global internet data goes through your network, right? So I know there are a lot of cricket fans out here. World Cup cricket just ended, right? India was beaten by Australia. So based on that data and the chatter, were you able to predict that Australia is going to be the ultimate winner?
You know what?
And can you give us some tips for the next World Cup?
So you have to think from your brain, but work from your heart. So my money was in India, but your algorithm was suggesting we should really put money on Australia. But I was a loser, but Australia won.
Very good. And Tom, right, with this massive Hadoop cluster, right,
Yes.
all the data mining and the predictive techniques you can use, right? So what's your prediction? Who's going to be the NBA champion this year? And so I can go start doing betting now, huh?
Well, I do know, and I won't share. Why would I share if I know?
You know, right, we're in the predictive business, we can read your mind, so you better share, right? Yes, now I think it's interesting what can be done from that perspective. Let's switch the gears to the cloud out here and how the cloud, data economy, IoT, how these things are converging together. And Aamir, I'll start with you. I know you guys had acquired a cloud company a few years back, and cloud is a big, big push for CenturyLink, right? So why don't you share, right? Because, you know, if you talk to every single CXO, you know, digitization, cloud are a big thing, right? And if they don't embark on the journey, they will go fail. So just share in terms of what you guys are doing, what you're seeing, and thoughts for the emerging entrepreneurs.
I mean, I see, so our roots were telco, right? I see it transform from being a phone where you pick up a phone, talk to somebody, to the iPhone 6. Same thing is happening in our business. We have transformed into an IT services company. So why is that the case, right? With all the data that's being generated, we have thousands and thousands of old applications that are sitting on our prem. And all of us are under pressure to post those great margins. So it's not that we can go out and hire, you know, another, so we have 48,000 employees. We can't hire another 50,000 employees to work on the new stuff. We are now looking at opportunities where we have old applications that may be running on IBM old mainframes, having us manage that for our customers and ourselves in the cloud while putting the new stuff in a hybrid cloud type situation. This is actually helping us build many, many other solutions. So we have solutions now, you know, for hospitality industries, for financial industries, for healthcare. And, you know, Tom and I were talking about some use cases. These use cases are being generated. We know what we know today, but there's a lot more stuff out there that we don't know, right? So we are trying to transform. Cloud is all about innovation. Cloud is all about agility, about velocity. And it's the two, for us, it's two worlds are coming together now. Because we have the network. You talked about our network, right? What we can offer is take that network, add it with cloud, provide an SLA, end-to-end SLA. There's not too many players out there who can do that.
May I just jump on this cloud topic?
Sure, absolutely.
So we're proud to be partner with CenturyLink and offer a cloud service with them. In the data space, we have a notion that data has gravity. And so if data is like in your data center and you're doing analysis on it, you know, you're going to want to keep it in your data center. It's hard to put it up to the cloud. What's interesting though is all the new exciting data that's driving the transformation of industry is not originating in the data center. It's originating in the cloud. It's all of our mobile devices. It's all the sensor devices. It is, you know, it's the social data. It's the communication data. That's all in the cloud. And that does not want to come into a data center. It's too hard to fit into a data center. The new data has gravity and it's going to land in the cloud. And we are big proponents that a lot of the future analytics and a lot of the work with data in the future, because that data is outside the enterprise, is going to be done in the cloud.
And to me, Cloudera and cloud sounds really good, huh?
Yeah, we're growing into our name.
Great, great. So guys, I'm going to be asking a few more questions, but if there are any questions from the audience, you can text D to 408-650-5040. You know, maybe I'll ask another one, right? There's a big buzz around cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Right? And it really boils down to, you know, in case of CenturyLink, you have 20% of the global internet data, and then what you can do from the threat intelligence, right? Same thing with Cloudera. So maybe share, you know, what's your view on this entire cybersecurity with the hacks which happened, right? And what kind of opportunity it's not only creating for some of the emerging entrepreneurs, right? This is a big, big topic in mind of every single CXO who I'm talking to.
So let me start. So security is a huge, huge, huge opportunity for us. A lot of business that we do, is with the U.S. government, and everything has to be secure. So I've got a team of, let's say, a huge team of ex-FBI, CIA officials. They sit there, they analyze all kind of data day in, day out, try to predict what could go wrong. I mean, the hacker world is much more sophisticated. I have to think that they are at least 10 feet or 10 steps ahead of us. So we are always catching up. So now we are looking at like Cognilytics algorithm to be able to predict when this next DDoS attack is going to happen. How is this next social email that came to us or that will come to us will have an impact on our business. So it's top of everybody's mind, and every customer we go talk to really ask about that. Glenn and I, who's our CEO, were with John Chamber at one of his events, and he had invited the top 50 CEOs in the world. And I tell you, the first thing that came out of most of those CEOs, how do I protect my business? And if we carry 20% of the data, I mean, we are responsible for that protection, so it's obviously important to us to protect that.
Great. Tom?
Well, I love the topic of security, so I'll cover two things, if that's all right. So the first off is data security. Very proud what we're doing in Hadoop is we're treating data security differently than the last time databases got developed. So think in the early 90s, relational databases were building, and it wasn't until really 10 years later that we started saying, oh, we got to secure the data. And we started putting other software around these databases, and we still do that. We're just, adding more and more software. What we're doing with Hadoop is we're making security a design criteria of the database itself. So we do natively in the system. It's authentication, access controls, auditing of the data. But most importantly, what we did working with Intel is we added the ability to encrypt all data in Hadoop. Not sensitive data, not just some of the data, but all data. And the way we did it is we now have encryption done in the hardware, in the chip. And so MasterCard, who's very concerned about credit card data, all of our credit cards, has now not only PCI certified our platform, but they represent it as a secure data vault, and they're going to every retailer saying, put all your credit card data in this secure data vault. This just happened in the last year because we designed it in versus bolting it on. The next thing that you talk about cybersecurity now, not data security, but cybersecurity, that's a big data problem. And the most common use case today for Hadoop is cybersecurity intelligence. And this platform is extending what we've done in SIM tools before, security information event management systems. I last ran a company called ArcSight, which was the largest provider of those tools, and now we're augmenting it with Hadoop, because in Hadoop, it's not about machine logs. We now have communications, we have videos, we have voice. We can take Twitter feeds. You can take a lot more data and do the more advanced cybersecurity analytics.
Great. And we are closing towards the time out here. So my last question out here, based on the question I'm seeing out here as well. What are the key sound bites, right, for the emerging entrepreneurs, right? As some of them are just thinking of starting a company. Some of them have started the companies and either bootstrapping it or raising money, right? So some of the key sound bites, to me, the topics we're talking about, IoT, cloud, security, big data, the next decade is going to create a huge amount of opportunities for people to really start thinking about creating more value. And as I was sharing, right, a lot of the Fortune 500 companies may not exist if they don't adapt to the changing environment. So maybe Aamir, I'll start with you. What are the key messages, sound bites, which will help them go rev things up?
Well, besides what Jack said, it's all about people, so it starts with that. But I say be agile, be nimble, listen to your customer, help transform businesses. This big data evolution that has started will change many, many business models. Certainly have changed our business model. So if you come to me and say, I have an idea, I may not be as interested, but you say, I understand your problem. Here are a few ways to solve it. We'll be all ears.
Very great. Tom?
Well, so I'm just thinking a young lady found me behind the screen here. and approached me with an idea. And she's probably in the audience, and I won't out your idea here. But she approached me and she says, I have an idea in the healthcare industry, and it's around paramedics to make them more efficient. And she was explaining her idea about this, a way of making them more efficient in this one area. And in my mind, I was sitting there thinking, wow, what if this young girl can transform how paramedics in ambulances operate and how they communicate? I mean, it was just much more of a bigger what if idea than here's my idea. And if you're out here in the audience, take your idea and think bigger about that whole very inefficient system of paramedics and ambulances and how they're dispatched and how they diagnose patients and all the communication. There's a tremendous opportunity. And so you got to think of like, not how do I make this a little more efficient, but how do you transform something that happens thousands and thousands of times a day and is very inefficient. And just look for those big ideas.
Great. So just to summarize, right, Tom, Aamir, this was really, really helpful. Your thoughts on different topics, right? If I were to sum it up for the emerging entrepreneurs, and based on what we heard from Jack and Tom, Aamir and Susie, right? You got to really dream big. And for the folks who are in the corporate world, right? If you have certain ideas, dream about them and go make it happen. And obviously, as you're in this entrepreneurial journey, there'll be ups and downs. And you got to just take them in the stride. And the big thing is you have to believe in yourself. And you got to ensure that you create a powerful ecosystem around you. And here, you get Cloudera, CenturyLink, right? Could be two powerful partners for you to engage and rev up your revenue out there. So again, thanks for Tom and Aamir for joining us today. And great talk out here.
Thank you.
Aamir, thank you.